we're going to be talking more about the first chapter of Yellow Emperor, Internal Medicine book. So in the first chapter, Wang Di asked his advisors, why is it that in the past people lived to such a long age? Why is that?
Yeah, the Chibo's doctor answered. First, he didn't directly answer the questions. So, like very Taoist master, Chibo answered that, yes, in the past, they living over 100 years old because they know how to mastering the full season and the external condition and the internal condition. But he immediately said, yeah, those kind of yin-yang, their energy, balance is the key. But in the modern day, people no longer follow that anymore. So can you imagine that was 2,500 years ago. So he said people go to bed very late, drink so much wine, enjoying the nightlife, and go to bed when they were drunk, and have sex, and then they're exhausted. Their jing means their body essence and the kidney qi, and there's too much material attraction, and then they're just attached to them physical leisures. So that's why they are their energy lost from the bone marrows. They're exposed to the weather change, and then they cannot protect themselves. So when the cold wind comes, they're very easy to get cold because yang qi disappears. You can see he gave those picture. It seems kind of quite familiar with what we were doing right now after 2,500 years. When I was first arrived in England, I was in Newcastle. I saw them during the night, and then suddenly the street become much more busy. People standing on the queue, and very, very little, and they're drunk and then talking loud, and it was so cold. Some of their lady just wearing the skirt, kind of hardly have much warm clothes. So that's also I was told, because they drink so much wine in the pub, and then they change different pub, and then that's why to save the put their coat restored. So that's much easier like this. So I was very shocked. So that's why I feel like now this Yellow Emperor Canon book, medicine book, is still very, very meaningful on the nowadays. So that's why we need to understand our human body, what is the really about, because we are followed with the cycles of the season. So if we are really with the cycles, like for example, spring is rising up, trees start to blossom and start growing the leaves. So everything start have a life. So our body should have a life. That's why we always said in the springtime, you need to go to bed earlier, get up earlier. So and then you enjoy the rising up of the qi and then the energy. So you in line with has the energy rising up with the earth. So that's why you feel much better, because the big environment rising, and then you're rising too. So you're the same vibration, so you're protected. But also In the summer, because the summer yang qi is rising on the top, is very hot. So that's why our pores start, sweat and opening up, and every blood, all the blood has come to the surface of the body. So that's how is our body starts sweat. So to let the heat come out from body, because our body is amazing systems, always adjusting to keep the balance. That's why in the summer we need to take care of how to make the body express like yang qi rise, rather than have a cold drink. So the time to go to bed need to be late. There's only this season we need to go to bed late, because the sun set very late, and then you get up earlier. What's interesting in Scotland, we realize it's sunset is about almost like 10:30 and 11, and then they start sunrise about 3 o'clock. Some people tell me, said, should we rising that earlier? But actually, I feel that's why the nature provides in the winter, and this area has much darker and long winter, so that balance up. So of course that's why you need to enjoy the sunshine, to enjoy to go outside, and to let the body fully kind of opening and express themselves, and like the qi active blood really flow properly. But if you try to get cold air, because I heard lots of people try to get air conditioning and they eat ice cream. So that's why, because your body, the heat go outside on the surface, so you're in stomach and digestive system is much weaker because there's less blood. So in this case, in the ancient time, people always said, drink something warm, but with cool character. For example, it's like chrysanthemum tea. So it's a warm temperature which doesn't shock your digestive system, doesn't shock your stomach. Because when you drink something cold, your body, just like when you're cold, you close down, so your blood vessels contract. So that will make you block your circulation, because when they're contraction, so they're closed. So make sure you not let your body close down. So you make sure they continue flow and open. So, and that's I find totally different with a lot of modern people lifestyle, because they say, oh, it's so hot, ice cream and and drink ice water. And no wonder there's so much disease happening later on, we call the irritable bowel syndromes. And also even lots of people have a skin problem. You know why? Because when you close down your big arteries or blood vessels inside, blood doesn't flow properly, doesn't really go down to the ending of your blood vessels, we call capillaries. So, and then therefore, it's like tree, the leaves, and then they need plenty of the water from the trunk to give the nutrition and supply the water. But if the trunk gets dry or blocked, so that's why the leaves get dry. It's like flower we see. So that is about summer. Something very small, but I noticed in the clinic, lots of people just do it the opposite way, against the yin and yang. So that's why you could drink warm things, but nice cool character, including green tea. Green tea is cooling, but you got to drink it as warm temperature. But that's why lots of people, when they drink tea in the summer, they just feel, I don't feel irritated hot anymore. So that is the ancient knowledge and the wisdoms above. So that's the summer. Of course, the summer solstice, that particular day, is a need to have a rest, and then need proper rest, because that day is yin and yang shift. So if you had a good rest on the lunchtime, because our day cycle exactly the same. We're talking about season cycle now. Later on we can touch the base about the day cycles. So it's if you rest, you are nourishing your liquid, your calm energy for the rest of the year, just from that day. Why? I call that the baby yin of the year. Just like a baby. If a baby gave birth, what baby need?
Nourishment, rest.
That's exactly. So then they need to drink, they need to sleep. So they need to eat, the nourishment. So that's why when there's a yin baby giving the birth, so they need a lot of nourishment. So that's why summer solstice really needs good food, nourishment, and good rest. So, and then therefore you got plenty of the yin to be able to growing. Just like you, your baby had a good nourishment, they will be able to growing stronger. But if a baby from the day 1 and 2 never really get fit their food, so therefore, and then they're suffering nutrition lost, so they cannot grow properly. Our body the same. Yeah, so that's the summer. Because the summer is very hot, interesting, because the Chinese medicine look their season cycles as a potential. You need to know the yin and yang, like a yin yang fish, they're moving as you nourish that potential. It's even very hot, but you make sure you're nourishing your cool and calm and liquid energy. So that's the summer. So that's why we check out the spring growing, the summer express, and then autumn is that close down. So that's why you need to go to bed. That's why we need to go to bed earlier, and also go to bed earlier to get up. So it's get up because it's very special. The earth's energy is very clean and cool. So that's why you can do morning exercise, so you don't feel like hot and then tiring. So it's just like you put your energy together. It's wonderful to doing qigong and breathing exercise. Some people doing the jogging. So just above to make sure your circulation moving in the morning. And then the rest of the time is to make sure you are gradually less sweat, especially forbidden to sweat after work to do the gym. So now we notice so many people go to the gym and sweat in the afternoon after work. That's actually detrimental to kind of consuming and they're exhausted the yin and the kidney and liquid. So that's why you can see so many people got a bone problem and feel thirsty, got diabetes. Is because it's the wrong time to do exercise. In between 5 to 7 is a kidney meridian time. And that's a very subtle concept. They're meridians connecting with the kidney, but actually they're connecting with your feet and with your chest, with your lung and your spine, and also bladder. So it's kind of they're connecting as a system rather than the kidney organs. That's one sense why we say the kidney meridian time. And so that's why this time it's important. The keynotes is not to do vigorous exercise because you burned your kidney gene by sweat, by heart beating fast, by lost liquid, and because this time needs calm and feet up. And that is the way you nourish the kidney yin, because if your kidney is, if you're talking at the organs, kidneys as water organs. But kidney meridians comes across so many different organs. So that's why they are quite important for we call the essence, we call the jing in Chinese medicine. Jing is your body liquid and essence, including the blood. So it's like if a woman lost the blood, it means they lost the essence. But if you nourishing the kidney meridian time, so you not burned out your essence. So it's, you don't burn up your blood, you don't burn up your liquid. So that's why you are getting stronger, because we always said, you see the baby, always the saliva come, that's very watery. But when the people getting old, there's so much wrinkles, and then the face dry down, and then their body bending. It's because there's not enough water. So that's why Dr. Jing always said, when you dry, you just like a tree, very easy broken. That's why lots of old age people have bones broken. So that's why there are fractures. So that's one of the reasons, because they have less bone marrow and less the liquid and the blood.
So is it correct in saying that when the meridian has the most flow through it, then that's when you should be nourishing it rather than using it?
Yes, exactly. Okay. You're not using it. You don't get too excited. You're not make heart beat fast. Ideal, and you're just like doing some quiet meditation, and then put feet up, and even not use your mind to think. So because the mind burn up 25% oxygen and your energy of the body. So if you let your mind quiet and then put feet up, very deeply relax, so you're nourishing your jing a lot. So you can see why Muslim, there are lots of men who quite fit in general. I'm not talking, individual cases, because they pray and then put their head on the ground, and then in this fetus posture 5 times a day, and then especially in the afternoon they're doing that a lot. So that's why their kidney quite strong. But on the autumn equinox, so the autumn period time as the principles, so you can do the exercise very actively, can be, but make sure you not sweat. But also you make sure you don't do that the day equivalent like autumn time, which is the afternoon when the sun sets. So that's very, very important. So of course that's the autumn. We were talking the winter solstice. Winter solstice is the whole earth's energy going down to the bottom. So it's hibernation time. So it's very important to restore the energy rather than to kind of excited, and then you burn out, and then doing lots of sweat, and then lots of wine, and then try to push the blood move, because it's ideal you're almost like a half sleep, or like an animal. In the winter they just basically not doing anything. So that is the nature intent to. But you can see our human, especially my experience in the West, I'm sure in the East now, and depends on their geography area. So the winter time can be very cold. You got to be very cozy, stay at home and keep warm, not too active, and sleep a lot, and nourishing your energy, preparing the spring come. So that's called hibernation. So we do winter retreat. especially to make sure people 3 days not talking, 3 days not doing, just lying and hibernate. But just amazing, by doing that, lots of people have a kidney problem and an energy problem. The next year is much better. I have one of the friend's daughter. She come to England to study. So she asked me, said, yeah, we have time off before the Christmas. I said, oh, you're talking about the winter solstice? I said, yes. I said, all right, in the winter solstice, you make sure you don't talk and make sure you stay centered. So it's quite important for next year. So after winter solstice, she come to me. She called me aunt. I said, aunt, yeah, I'm doing very well. They all talk, and then I just eat dumpling with all of my friends a whole night. And then we eat. They all talk. I'm just quiet and eat a lot. And then after eat, and then we start watching the film whole night. I just said, oh my God, I forgot to tell her she needs rest. Or even, hibernate means you don't eat, you don't drink, you don't talk, you don't have any action. So, and then you totally lower your metabolism and then gone to the kind of sleep, almost like a dying state, which to preparing and then deep relax. So, and then it was too late. I just said, oh God, I didn't tell her she shouldn't eat too much. She shouldn't active watching the film. But guess what? And after that, next year, she keep come back to me because she keep get cold. She keep get blood infection. But just because that night she was totally burned out to her energy, even she hasn't talked, but eat eat so much. So because she's not talking, that's why she eats so much. So that's why I aggravate her digestion system. Have to draw so much blood and very burn out on that. So from that, I realized in this society, winter solstice is nearly to Christmas holiday. So there's so much shopping going on, so much activities going on, and just immediately after that winter solstice, majority of people drink and then watching, film, television, I'm sure, and the party. No wonder next year there's so many people have a cold.
For someone hearing that, they might think, that seems crazy, just resting for a few days a year could have that much of an impact. Why does it have such a big impact?
Well, that's just like, if we said when the baby were born, first you make sure, like the first 3 years, like the first 3 days, you make sure they've been nourished.
Right.
So when they're nourished, and then the 3 years, they already much more get stronger, they can running. And then it's much easier to take care. You don't have to hold them all the time, to protect them all the time. So on that particular time, because they're in a young shift, because winter solstice is the baby young giving birth. So the baby young giving birth, you need to really take care of and nourish them, not let young dispersed. And then as like a good seeds, they can growing up much stronger. But if you exhausted, so it's like, the water come from the earth is just start like a spring water. So you drink them, finish them immediately, rather than wait for them to come out, become stream, and become river, and then go into the sea. So that's why the waters become performed by that time, when you get stronger, because those time is, your whole body start formulating all of the organs and the nourishment, and then so that's why when they get good nourishment, you can forming much better strong structure on your cell, on your internal organs. So that's why we gave the attention to the beginning, and it's quite important. So it's like, okay, give this example. So if you try to hold something heavy, you could use your whole body energy to cuddle and hold. Or if you're clever, you can use the one hand, find the center. Or even you find an even better center, you can use 3 fingers, just 1 fingers to get hold of this part. So that is the secret about Chinese medicine. How can you find the key point to get the balance? So that's why those 4 seasons on that particular yin-yang shift time is the key point. Just like, in England, people knows we have roundabout. So when you were try to changing the road, or you come to the very busy part, so you're in the roundabout, you need to slow down. When you slow down, you identify why you need to go. So when you were slow down, you see clearly where you go, and then you go in the right direction and save lots of time. But if you don't slow down, you're too fast, you're missing the road. So you have to go back and then take much longer.
Wow.
The same idea. So that's why when the yin and yang change, you need to slow down to nourish, to be able, they can find a way to formulating and then getting stronger and nourished and then to develop. So that's also the Chinese medicine is really about the wisdom to how to keep balance and harmonious in between your body and the nature. So what we were talking in the Huangdi Neijing, the Yellow Emperor medicine book, they start to illustrate, said, if you are the sage, you understand how to respect the nature and also how to implement yourself and the action to in tune with the how nature change. So to put a short summary on that particular one is that the winter is a store your energy. So the spring is like their shoot, like the baby plants come out, the shoots just come out as growing and giving birth. So and then the summer the growing is bigger, and the tree have much more leaves. So in the autumn they get fruit. So everything starts, completed. So that's why it start closed down. The leaves dropped, and the winter. So you start to hide and preparing the energy for another cycles. So that's why the ancient time people respect that cycle. They know that the cycle is for keep your life going. It's like a wheel moving. If your every part you hold properly, so your life will running very smooth. But interestingly, Chibo, the doctor, emphasized one thing, said, how could they get really long life? The first is because they are very calm. And then their mind very easy, peaceful, and empty. And then to be able to in line with the change outside, and then without disturbed by any emotion attraction or desire attraction. So that's why they don't treat material that important. It's like, can you imagine some people just for one beautiful clothes, they take about the days and then shopping, going to here and there, exhausted, just to try to get this one, spend so much energy on that. But of course, that's why the ancient time they said, and those people who understand to keep their energy inside. The ancient wisdom is like, notice that they don't say, make your energy outside look. They don't say that. They knew how to bring their energy and tension go inside, and then to hold that energy, and then with the peaceful mind and the empty mind, therefore they never expose to the strong wind and then cold and the heat from the outside, because that's why they are phrase, and they said when you have very strong, true, pure, strong energy, and they are pathogenic chi, pathogenic energy, and never attacking you.
Now, these same processes of the seasons also apply in a smaller microcosm of the day too.
Oh yes. So that's why after see that the seasons, we are looked the body, ancient time looked the bodies, we are small miniature cosmos. So that's why even at the acupuncture point are almost like stars. So we are the cosmos. So that's why each day, if we are implying the same principles, it's like follow the season. So you sleep, the pattern follow the season, and then each day you get up when the sun rises, and then you rest, because the morning represent like spring. It's like everything start rising and opening up. So you follow that. You're doing the qigong, you're doing the breathing exercise, you change the fresh, clean air. Of course, if you're living in the countryside, that's even better. You're connecting the nature and have much more oxygen when the sun comes in. Of course, the tree exchange. They give your oxygen to the humans. So that's why why need to be sunrise. And then there's another reason I find very, very powerful. And there's some of the research said when there's sunrise in that particular moment, their Schumann wave, because qi is about vibrations wave. They said that the Schumann wave is reached to the 10 hertz, which is very much linked with your brain. And then there's the alpha wave is vibrating in front of your frontal lobe and then the top lobe. And no wonder why so many people got inspiration. Very creative people had the inspiration in the morning when they just about wake up, because the whole earth vibrating on the brain creative vibe at that time. So that's why the ancient time people always wake up on that time and then practice qigong. Face to the east, to the sun, and then you're breathing in the fresh air, and then you visualize the light coming into you. So that means you're connecting with the cosmos energy, because that vibration is the best. Of course, if the weather is good, ideal, you can go outside and then to do some exercise to have a much more fresh oxygen. But that is the morning. There's one point I want to mention, that lots of people take a shower in the morning, but in the ancient teaching, they always advise you take the bath or shower in a warm bath shower in the evening before you go to bed, because you clear up your aura and the bad energy when you're busy. In the morning, and so you just use the cold water washing your face, because you rest, and then the sunlight and the fresh air is your shower but lots of people take a shower and then try to wake up, and then that's why if it's in the city and then there's lots of petrol, so the pores is open, you're exposed. So no wonder why lots of people's skin have a trouble. Can you imagine that the pores is like a window open, and there's so much kind of dirty things come in, and then so that's why they get into the body. So if it just simply for your exercise your immune system, it will be good for some people. If their energy is stronger, they can take quick cold shower and then doing the massage on the skin to stimulate the circulation, to preparing you and to close down your system to be able to deal with the cold air. So because I'm referring is the season, right? We are in autumn, but in the morning you could be in the fall seasons, depends on the season. So morning exercise is ideal, but in the middle of the day, in between 11 to 2 o'clock, ideal to get some rest. Because that's we call the baby yin on the small cycles as day. So if you rest, and then you will nourishing your heart, because it's the heart meridian time, and also heart meridian connecting with the small intestine. So the small intestine and connecting with your eyes, connecting with absorbing your food and your digestive system. So it looks like you just take a little bit nap, but you actually allow the body to rest, to preparing and then calm down, to get much more calm energy and liquid. So many people said since they start take a lunch nap, they have much better energy in the afternoon, more better focus to do work, and less tiring. That's also why their lunch break is quite important. It's not just break to eat and then to work. I noticed that some people jogging even in the lunchtime. So from ancient wisdom will not suggest that. you really need to just like close your eyes, like doze off, just rest, and then to help the body to repair. Because it's the baby you need to nourish. So if you could have a good lunch, will be ideal. I find in the modern industrial revolution, after the industrial revolution, so much people, lunch is very simple, just sandwich and 1 apple, or even some people don't eat lunch. So I'm not surprised why so much heart disease. Because that's a heart meridian time. If you don't nourish heart yin, so that's why the heart flip, too much yang active. So they cause the heart beat faster. If you nourish the yin, so they can keep balance, the heart much more calm and beat more steadily. So that's why it's something very small. If you're doing every day, it will really shift about your life. So since we have lots of students and doing that full-time for house, especially they start keep doing the lunch break and then baby yin rest and then eat properly. They even used to have a heart problem and then later on they get better. So to me, it's about heart disease. It's not just about taking salt. It's about the energetically, how much you manage to keep yin and yang. And then your heart is more harmonious. Of course, if your heart and the energy in your heart better, you will less agitate. Because if your yin not enough, yin is like a calm energy. When you link with other people, little things get you very easy, emotional, agitate. Because you don't have enough calm energy to calm yourself down to dealing external emotion blush. So that's why quite lots of people tell me since they're doing that, they said, oh, so cool. I said, Sam, I'm not really bothered. I used to be very, very angry with people, but later Sam's not bothered too much. I keep
Because they're not tired anymore.
Yes. So it's like you're just every day you accumulate the water and then you accumulate the calm energy, and then you are much ease and calm to dealing with the wave from outside. But if you're in a little river, there's so much flash, you just feel turbulent. So that's why sometimes it's their lifestyle and so look so simple and so easy, but it have a profound effect on the body energy or even on the emotion. I just wondered whether people have been really done the research on that. So if you just simply have a baby yin rest, and how much your mood will be changed. So that's the one sense about the lunch during the day. Oh yes, just editing it with something fun about that, because the heart meridian going in through the small fingers. So there's quite lots of case studies that when the people have a heart attack, they feel arm numb and the finger get numb. Because in the Chinese medicine, when the numb means you have a short blood supply, and then your energy is getting weak. So that's why when we will treat people have a small fingers problems, and in the clinic we immediately said, you haven't rested on the baby yin. so through the body physical preference, you actually can identify that person's lifestyle. That's why we use the system thinking, can immediately spot on the small sense of why the behind their system doesn't running properly as cycles. So and that's give just a kind of a little bit idea. If anyone had this kind of a little fingers problem, you probably be better to look into the rest. and then of course we're talking about the afternoon, the day cycle. Afternoon in between 5 to 7, we just covered that, is kidney meridian time. But actually that affected the lung quite strongly because the kidney meridians go through lung, and then that's why this time if people have a proper rest and they find their energetic levels, especially the sleep, will be better. Because if you rest on the baby yin time in the middle of the day, and plus to rest, put feet up, so that means your yin is like a river from a very little drop and gradually accumulate, become bigger, and then into the evening, if you rest into that 2 times, so you got plenty of the yin and calm energy to put you to sleep. That's why when we're doing the retreat, and lots of people come, they have a problem, they cannot sleep. So now we said, okay, you just join the course, we don't really talk much, and then people sleep for 2 hours, and then middle of the day, and then afternoon they put feet up and rest for 1 hour. First, they just said, oh God, if I'm sleep so much, I cannot sleep during the night. And then we said, we will see. And next day they come and say, incredible, I cannot believe. And then I was so sleepy when I was back home. I cannot keep up. And I had the best sleep for a whole night, for a long time. Can you imagine just one day you did proper lunch break, baby yin rest, and a proper and a kidney meridian rest on the sunset in between 5 to 7. And then I sleep much deeper. It's because you have so much yin. The yin is like a mother. if you have a big mother, so you can hold that baby much easier. If it's a baby too big and the mother too small, you fall down. Yeah, it's because your shen, your spirit is like a baby. If you don't have enough those kind of energy to hold, so that's why the shen cannot have a base to cuddle and then to feel secure, to rest. So that's why so many people find when they were tired, they couldn't sleep, but they're so tired they won't sleep, and then they couldn't. That's one of the reasons, because the yin deficiency and the yang deficiency. Because the yin, if not deficiency, easy put you to sleep. But the yin very easy burn up is either you don't rest in the middle of the day, and then you don't rest on the in between 5 to 7, and plus lots of evening excitement to stimulate. Like people doing lots of computer games and drink lots of wine and crazy during the night, and then of course they burn up the yin, and later on even they don't doing those anymore, but damage already caused. It take much more longer to thoroughly to do that. So that's why we're dealing quite lots of young people. They're always doing the pub work during the night, because they're student, and during the day they're study, they try to make some pocket money during the night. So they were traveling from that pub to the other pub work, and then they have a really problem, emotion, mood swing, and depressed. But since they start thoroughly doing that work from a couple of years, and then their energy back to normal. So that's why in the afternoon, in between 5 to 7, we're really strongly suggest that people not get sweat, not doing vigorous sport movement, because they definitely lose lots of yin. I treat one patient, he is a young man, about 30 years old. He has constant backache. And I said, what's your doing? Because he's a young man. Now my first time said, do you have a girlfriend? Normally if it's a backache, my first reaction, maybe too much sex. So and he said, no, I don't have a girlfriend. I said, what are you doing in between 5 to 7? He said, oh, I went to gym every day, 2 hours, doing kind of those machine jogging, and then doing lots of. I said, oh my God, that's really disaster. And then he said, oh, I feel so much better after that. And then I said, wow, they will cause your sleep problem, and you could feel very old. He said, you're right. After that, I feel temporarily better, but overall, I feel I'm like 8 years old. I'm really backache and terrible feel. I said, okay, you better stop doing that. I said, how long have you been doing that? He said, doing it for years. So that's why, can you imagine those kind of things have such detrimental to the body? We did research in China with the clinic and 100 doctors doing that full time for health, for 1 day cycles. But because they're treating patients, they cannot do the baby yin at the noon time. And in the morning, some people doing that kind of cold wash face and doing some walk, but still they're in a rush, try to get to work. But there's one thing almost everybody did, is after work, everybody put feet up in their club, because the hospital have some rooms
to let the blood rush to the kidneys, right?
Yes, they just put feet up,
up above the head.
against the wall, and then people all doing that, because also work finished, before go to home, you can do that. It was amazing result come out. I said, and even just by doing this, lots of people's physical energy is much stronger. Their heart beating stronger. They can, they're doing the test for go up to the staircase, and then for how much their heartbeat, their their the resilience about their body. And then most of the people, the measurement changed just by put feet up. So that's why we always said, if you're sweat and doing too much sport on that time, you're commitment suicide. For the modern life, because lots of gyms try to help people to get the blood circulate, but ancient wisdom tell us loud, you need to have a wise to know what time doing what. So that's the afternoon when the sun sets, because you need to close down your body and then calm down. You can take a gentle walk into the park and then talk to flowers and breathing the fresh air. That's okay. Gentle walk is okay. Okay, let we talk about the evening and the middle of the night, which is equivalent as winter. So in between 11 to 1 o'clock is a baby yang, because it's very, very dark. But on that time, there's a shift from the extremely yin that have a baby yang giving birth. So that is the time, and lots of master, like either qigong master or spiritual master, doing the practice on that time. Because this time is because if your spine straight, you're no mind, no thought, and then you can collecting enormous energy by nourishing your baby yang. And so that's why some of their school called that's the kidney time. Interests me, because for the Chinese medicine, kidney time is original energy. So that's why they dries on the middle of the night. It's the nourishing your original jing, original energy. So that's one of the reason if you are not get extremely tired. So that's why the people will be able to meditate. But if they cannot do it, so ideal, you get sleep. But even worse now, the society people not even get sleep. They're dancing and they're just drinking and they're shouting, they're fighting. So that's why they're burning much more. So from the healthcare aspect, we suggest that you put your feet in the hot water before you go to bed and help the circulating of the kidney meridians and all the meridians on the feet. And then you settling down and then rest, and better than too busy.
So to summarize the 4 times for health, can you say what time they are and what to be doing?
Okay, so it's middle of the day for baby yin, middle of the night for baby yang. Sunrise to go outside, do exercise, and sunset is to put feet up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.